Hello everyone, welcome to the orbit of the coding. So today I'm going to explain Angular tutorial part 2 session. In this session I'm going to represent the Angular project structure. So before going to the part 2 session, I little bit recall the part 1 session. So in the part 1 session, I have gone through the how to install and how to set up Angular project and what is the prerequisites of the Angular project setup and what is the Angular and what is the history behind the Angular. So these kind of topic I was gone through in the part 1 session. So let's quickly brief the part 1 session. So if you need to install or set up Angular project, so you need to prerequisite. It's like you need to install Node.js and you have VS Code, and after that you need to set up npm Angular CLI, right? And you you have a basic knowledge of JavaScript, TypeScript, HTML, CSS, and the OPS concept. And if you are going through some broad levels and some kind of deep going through the Angular project, then if you need to call some API, then you have API knowledge as well. So without wasting some time, let's go to the visual code and let's explain the project structures. So here you can see that. So I have create one project that is orbit of the coding. So if you need to create a new project, then you can use a command ng new and name of the Angular project, right? And name of Angular project, correct? You can uh, write anything as per your requirements. So if you create a Angular project, so some of basics files, some of helpers files are automatically created in our code base. So here you can see that there is a file node modules. So this is the console npm package manager. So all third party, or we can say that all external dependencies files are there inside of node modules. So suppose like if you need to install any packages, and if you if you need to import some third party library or anything, that should be contained under node module. And this is the some basic HTML, like this is the logo of favicon.inc in the public folders. You already know about in the HTML and CSS. And the another directory is src. So under src, it's reside your app under there. So this is the main folders you need to work upon, and you need to develop your projects in the src. So under src, we have app. So under app, we have a component. So component is the main part. It's kind of heart of our Angular applications, we can say that. So if you create multiple pages in Angular application, so you need to write the code in the component. You need to create a component. If you need to create a single pane application, and you need to communicate to one page to another page, then we can use a component, right? So in the next session we can go briefly about the component. I just in this session I just explain the what is the project assets, so you have a basic idea before building your application. In we don't As of now we don't require to explain or understand whole file that is created by defaults. If you create some small applications, write some code, and develop applications, so gradually you can your understanding should build up about the more some configurations files. So as of now, we can just a let's have a basic idea about the what the file resides under if we create Angular applications in the basics. So here you can say that we have a component. So in the component we have three files. We can say that four files. So first is HTML and the TypeScript, and this is the spec.ts, and this is the CSS. Sorry, excuse me for that. So in the HTMLs you can write the your HTML code, and in the TypeScript you can write your logics. You can define a variables. In the .css you can write your style sheet in the classes, and this is not heavily used in application, but this is used for in the create test case and for testing purpose, right? And the another files we can see that app.config.server.ts. So this is used for server side uh, rendering. We can say that if you need to render some HTML applications, so we can use in that case. And app.config.ts, this is a configuration file in our application. Sorry. So suppose if you need to define some URLs in the API URLs, you can define under that app configuration files. And if you need to create some global constant, and that global constant you can use throughout the applications, then you can define a variable in the app.config.ts files. Or if you need to declare some feature flag, so based on the feature flag true or false, we can display the feature of your application. So in that case you can define all the things under app.config.ts file. And this is the app.routes.ts file. So this is used in our application for routing purpose. So suppose if you need to navigate one component to another component, so we can use app.routes.ts files, right? And this is a very important, and this is also handle how to use a single page applications and how to navigate a one page to another or component without refreshing the whole page. So this is responsible for that. And the next is index.html files. So this is the entry point of our Angular applications. So we can say that here you can see that we have a defined HTML tag had some metadata. We can create a title under the file, and we have put some references of the favicon.icons, and inside the body we have put app root tag. Here you can see that. So if you if you run the Angular application, then this is the entry point. It just first hit the app root, and it's find the where app root is defined. So you can see that in the app.component.ts we have a selected app root. So so if you run the first page, if you hit the application, then index.html file is called. Then it's go to the second process, app root, it's identify, and then app component.html tag is called after. It's find the where it is app root file, and based on that app.component is called, right? And the main.server.ts, this is also responsible for server side rendering. And server.ts will mainly used for server side rendering, like how your html content is rendered to the server side. And for servers, we can use node.js express servers inside. Like suppose if you are working on the php, then apache server is used for running your application. So similarly in the angular, we have used node.js express server. And we have style dot css, this is the global files. And editor config file, this is used for like configuration editors. And a little bit in the next session I will explain bit more about, or gradually if we develop the application and if there is any case in is use this file editor file, then we can explain a bit more details. And this is the git ignore files, right? So suppose if you create angular applications, and in your applications use git to check in or check out or handle your code base. So git ignore files is ignore if some automatically some files are created under the, if you use some git repository, then this is used to ignore that files. So angular dot json, this is used for this is it contain the reference of whole like configuration file, access file. And if you need to use some older version of applications, then you can define under angular.json. And package.json is used for or define some packages. If you create some third party package, if you use packages, and this is here we can define, or if you use or import some like RxJS Express. So if you define in the package.json file. And server.ts file is already we have explained, this is used for server side rendering. And tsconfig app.json. So this is a type a script configuration file. If you need to compile a code, then we can use a ts app.json files. And this is the configuration. This is used for we can say that if you need to define some Angular application, we need to compile the projects. Then then in that case we can use ts configurations files. Here you can see that we have src main, we have server.ts, we have some extended version of that file. So now I'm going to uh, run the applications. So if you if you don't right now, if you don't get the how much, what is the real use of tsconfig file, tsconfig.json file, tsconfig.spec. So as of now, if we create a basic application, we don't need to understand the whole page what is created right away or by default created. We don't need to understand the whole pages. So already having said that, if we need to create, or gradually if we develop some application and step to steps, then usually we can more explore about the what is the real use of tsconfig.app.json file, tsconfig.json file, tsspec.json files. So now I'm going to run the Angular project. So we can use a command ng server. building the application. Here you can see that. And now I'm going to here you can see that we have create some default application and hello orbit of the codings. And so here w- it's, we hit the localhost and our application. So first it calls the index.html file. I already having said that. And then it's go to the app.components. So you can see that the app component.html files currently it's rendering the first page of our applications. So here you can see that we have defined some by default css, some heavy we can say that we have a hello words, and in the titles and in the congratulations your app is running hello something text we can explain that, right? So so this is you can see that we have if we need to bind some variables, then we can use double uh, curly brackets. So here you can say that titles are bind. So here I have defined the titles. So if you change anything, so like I put the word change and control save, so it's automatically reflect in our application. It's automatically reflect in our browsers. Like here you can see that the hello orbit of the coding and change. And if I just change that text something and we can just put the saves, it automatically build and deploy in our local host. Here you can see that. So that's it from this uh, part 2 session as of now, and I hope you enjoy a lot, you learn a lot in these sessions. And very soon I will coming to the part 3 sessions, and I will bit more explain about the components, what is the use of component, and how to bind the data, what is pipelines, and all the things I will explain the upcoming video. So thank you for your watching and happy learning. Thank you so much.